You're a cultural anthropologist.
I am indeed.
What does that mean?
My parents often ask that, at least my father does. It means I study people. You want to have a sense of what motivates people, what they care about, what's important to them, what frustrates them. And I still think that one of the best ways of doing that is to actually go and spend time with people in their lives, in the places they make meaning in their lives. And I've seen what people care about, what's important to them, and then use that to understand why they value technology.
Where do you think we are now in terms of embracing all of this technology that keeps coming at us?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's fascinating, you're absolutely right. I mean, what a 15 years to be in the tech industry, right? I mean, it's sort of been the most astonishing time to watch what the average consumer has in their homes, in their backpacks, in their cars. I mean, there's been this incredible proliferation of technologies and applications and services. And I'm really struck by the fact that we're still taking on new things. And I think the hard thing right now is how we educate ourselves to ask the right questions. You know, how do you educate yourself to be able to tell the difference between the hype that surrounds a technology and the reality of what it can do? And frankly, we've had, 10 years of remarkable growth of technology, but a lot of it's been a burden on us, right? I mean, you have lots of devices in your home, your kids probably have them too, but chances are that also means a drawer full of cables, a piece of paper full of passwords, another drawer full of cables for things you don't have anymore, but you keep the cables because you never know when you might need them.
It's a basket in my house, a big one.
There you go. So we all have it somewhere. What I'm also really struck by is the fact that we have the same anxieties about that technology that my parents, my grandparents, and my great-grandparents did. So, my great-grandmother is of a vintage that her home was electrified when she was a young married woman. She still talked about what it was like when electricity first came and how it was really scary and it was really overwhelming and there was all this stuff in the house that made noise now and she had to work out how to iron with electricity rather than coal. And I listen now thinking about the ways she was anxious, and they sound remarkably like the ones we have now of feeling like it's utterly overwhelming, lots of devices, our kids are off doing who knows what, which is of course what my grandparents said about my mother too, because she was off listening to rock and roll on her transistor radio under the pillow, which sounds remarkably like a smartphone, in a hand, right? So while the scale, I think, and the pace of the technology is different, sometimes the things that worry us about us are remarkably consistent. We worry about our families and our communities and our values and where that's all going.
If they're in every sort of chapter of change, there's a sort of point where it starts to slow down a bit. I'm wondering sort of where we are in this chapter, or if you can even know.
That's such a good question. I actually think the hardest thing about being in a period of rapid transformational, rapid efflorescence of technologies is you don't have enough time yet to work out, are these things that are going to be here for 2 years or 20? And for me, there's, a couple of things I'm always listening for, right? Does it have an impact on our relationships to time? So does it speed up or slow down time? I think, does it have a change in our relationship to space? Does it make things seem closer, further away? And then will it change our social relationships? And I think if you hit those three, usually you're on a keeper, something that will last and that will have sort of significant consequences.
So what do we put in that category specifically?
Electricity.
Yeah.
The internet.
Yeah.
Television.
Yeah.
Cars. Probably not hula hoops. PDAs. Fax machines.
Of all the things that you're looking at now, what are you telling people at Intel to pay attention to?
I'm fascinated by how as human beings we want to augment our humanity. What is it that we want to extend there? Our power, our personality, our physicalness.
We maybe don't know the answer to that yet.
And that's what makes it interesting.